The courtroom had gone completely still. Then the verdict cut through the air like metal striking metal. Do we, the jury, find the defendant, Carly Madison Gregg, guilty? The words echoed as the reality settled in. A teenager, a daughter, a case that fractured a family and stunned an entire community. What pushes a 14-year-old to send a casual text message just minutes after taking her own mother's life? What makes a child cross a line so severe that even seasoned investigators struggle to comprehend it? Cases like this force us to confront an uncomfortable truth. Violence does not always arrive with warning sirens. Sometimes it wears a familiar face, speaks in a familiar voice, and lives under the same roof. Juvenile crimes involving family members strike differently because they shatter the illusion of safety inside the home. Investigators later admitted that what unsettled them most was not just the act itself, but how ordinary everything appeared before it happened. No history of extreme violence. No known criminal associations. Just a household quietly unraveling behind closed doors. Before we begin, make sure you like the video, subscribe to Crime Cypher, and ring the bell so you never miss our deep dive breakdowns into the darkest corners of real crime. This wasn't fiction, and it wasn't a sensational movie script. It happened inside a quiet Mississippi home, a place where a mother-daughter argument spiraled into one of the most unsettling juvenile crime cases the state had ever witnessed. And as we break down each layer of this story, you'll understand why the name Carly Gregg still echoes through courtrooms, police briefings, and late-night conversations throughout Brandon, Mississippi. Carly had always blended into the background. To most people, she was simply another quiet teen living with her mom, Ashley Smiley, a respected math teacher, and her stepfather, Heath. She went to school, kept mostly to herself, and didn't make much noise socially. But behind the surface, tension had been building for months. Emotional distance, frustration, frequent arguments. And on March 19, 2024, all of that pressure exploded. According to people close to the family, the weeks leading up to that day were marked by subtle changes. Carly withdrew further into herself. Conversations became shorter. Arguments became sharper. Teachers later acknowledged moments where she appeared distracted, emotionally flat, or unusually tense, but nothing that clearly pointed to imminent violence. In hindsight, these moments became puzzle pieces investigators wished they had noticed sooner, signs that something inside a 14-year-old was breaking silently. Investigators believe the argument that day involved substance use. Whatever the trigger was, they say Carly crossed a line no one believed she was capable of crossing. What shocked everyone, though, wasn't only what she did, it was how she behaved afterward. Home surveillance captured the moment everything changed. But what came after was even more disturbing. She calmly texted a friend and invited her over, just minutes later. That friend walked into a nightmare without knowing it. And instead of panic or remorse, Carly allegedly displayed a chilling stillness, as if the moment were just another part of her afternoon routine. Then she texted her stepfather, asking him to come home. When he opened the door, he came face to face with a child holding a gun, a child who had already crossed an irreversible line. He later recalled, "The gun went off in my face before the door was even open." Calling 911 with shaking hands and blood on his clothes as he tried to comprehend what had happened to the family he believed he understood. "She tried to shoot me," he told the dispatcher, his voice trembling. Officers rushed to the scene. Carly fled outside, triggering a frantic search across the yard, the barn, the vehicles, and the tree line. The quiet neighborhood was suddenly filled with flashing lights, fear, and confusion. Parents pulled their children indoors. Doors locked. Reality set in. This wasn't a tragic accident. This was intentional. And no one could answer the central question: why? Detectives spent countless hours reconstructing the timeline, replaying surveillance footage frame by frame, analyzing text messages word for word. What disturbed them most was the lack of emotional fluctuation. There was no visible panic, no frantic attempt to hide or escape immediately. Instead, there was structure, sequence, decision-making. To seasoned investigators, this suggested not a momentary loss of control, but something far more complex, a psychological detachment that defied easy explanation. Inside the courtroom, two competing narratives clashed. Her defense described her as a deeply troubled teen suffering from hallucinations, breakdowns, and emotional instability. They argued she didn't understand what she was doing and needed treatment, not punishment. But prosecutors laid out another version, one of preparation, intention, and awareness. They quoted her chilling words, "I put 3 in my mom, and I got 3 more waiting for my stepdad." "Does that sound like someone who didn't know what she was doing?" the prosecution asked the jury. Through witness accounts, digital messages, and video evidence, they built a sequence of events that the jury could not ignore. After deliberation, they delivered their decision: guilty on all charges, first-degree murder, attempted murder, and evidence tampering. Each juror confirmed it aloud. And Carly Gregg, only 14, received life in prison twice over, plus 10 additional years. But the verdict didn't end the conversation. Instead, it sparked nationwide debates about youth mental health, responsibility, and the limits of the juvenile justice system. Some experts argued Carly was a child screaming for help long before the incident, and that early intervention could have changed everything. Others insisted that the brutality of the act removed room for sympathy. And across the country, parents whispered among themselves, wondering whether warning signs might be hiding right under their own roofs. Schools brought in counselors. Parents pushed for more mental health resources. Teachers received new training to recognize emotional instability in students. The case exposed how easily a troubled child can slip through the cracks unnoticed. Legal experts meanwhile debated whether a teenager should ever receive a life sentence. Neuroscientists pointed out that the adolescent brain is still forming, especially in areas dealing with impulse and judgment. Others countered that Carly's deliberate choices removed any consideration for leniency. Journalists, lawmakers, and analysts dissected every angle, turning the case into a national flashpoint for juvenile justice reform. Behind closed doors, judges and prosecutors admitted the case haunted them. Sentencing a child to life imprisonment is not a decision made lightly, but neither is overlooking the severity of an act that permanently erased a life. The justice system found itself trapped between 2 impossible responsibilities: protecting society and acknowledging the incomplete emotional development of a teenager. Carly Gregg became more than a defendant. She became a symbol of a system forced to make choices with no morally clean outcome. In the community, memories of Ashley Smiley linger painfully. Neighbors remember her grading math papers on the porch. Others recall Carly walking her dog, quiet, introverted, seemingly harmless. These memories now carry a haunting contrast to the events that unfolded in that home. This is Crime Cypher, where we uncover what others overlook and bring the hidden layers into the light. Before you go, make sure you like the video, subscribe to Crime Cypher, and ring the bell so you never miss a story from the shadows.